Creativity. In the words of Steve Jobs, creativity is just connecting things. When you ask creative people how they did something, they feel a little guilty because they didn't really do it, they just saw something. And it seemed obvious to them after a while. That's because they were able to connect the experiences they've had and synthesize new things. 2. Good innovation requires foresight, sensing the needs of the future on both smaller and larger scales. The best innovators, the pioneers, know what people want before they even know themselves. In the words of Henry Ford, if I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. 3. Good innovation requires problem solving. Sometimes innovation is done with an urgent necessity in mind. In the words of Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon.com, one of the only ways to get out of a tight box is to invent your way out. 4. Good innovation requires daring, because in so many ways, it's not easy to let your baby out into the world. Furthermore, it's necessary to let go of the fear of making mistakes. In the words of Leo Burnett, to swear off making mistakes is very easy. All you have to do is swear off having ideas. 5. And finally, good innovation requires passion. As author Elizabeth Gilbert says, you must find another reason to work, other than the desire for success or recognition. It must come from another place. So that's innovation in a short list. And here at Orchid, all of these things are what we're trying to encourage. We're trying to encourage the first step. We're trying to encourage the sharing of worthwhile ideas. Because at an age like this, there's not much to lose or gain. It's the perfect time for a first step, a spark of wild thought, a bit of creativity, a bit of foresight, problem solving, daring, and passion. And anyways, it's old news that Orchid Founders Days are never really just Founders Days. Founders Days are the times we take to honor our founders in meaningful ways. And sometimes the best way to honor them is to try and carry forward their legacies. Try and carry forward the few things they believed were an integral part of the institution that they built, the things they thought were important. Today attempts to do something similar, to carry on the torch of innovation and of free thought, because these things we believe are important. The theme for this year is Path to Progress. Let's talk about India a little bit. India isn't one of those black and white countries. India is a palette of mixed colors, of poverty and triumph, of discrimination and inclusion. We're a country which is 75% agricultural on one hand and building smart cities on the other. We're attached to our old traditions and customs almost to a fault in some cases, but in others, we're striving towards more progressive thought and action. If it's so hard to assess this country all in one go, how exactly are we to plan a path for its progress? However, if there's one thing that's true, it is that we Indians know what India needs better than anybody. We've got 500 million young, patriotic minds who the government is doing everything in its power to educate. Because at the end of the day, it is their creativity, their innovation, that will be the only definite path to progress for India. It's also important to note that no idea is too small or too localized.